Sometimes in politics we have stories which are very important but just a bit too complicated for their own good. And at other times we get stories which are very important but unfortunately irresistibly funny as well. Tonight's story is both. Lord Christopher Geidt has quit as Boris Johnson's ethics advisor. Lord Geidt is a very grand man, a kind of living embodiment of the British establishment. He doesn't walk, he shimmies. He was private secretary to the Queen. Appearing before MPs recently, he looked a bit like an impeccably dressed and slightly offended boiled egg. What he thought he was doing advising Boris Johnson on ethics is anyone's guess. Lord Geidt, I suppose, probably doesn't Google. Anyway, he resigned last night because he said in a letter released today the Prime Minister had put him into an impossible and odious position. I don't think he meant that literally. What seems to have happened is that Mr. Johnson was told by an independent body he should remove tariffs on some foreign steel imports, but he chose to ignore them. What has that got to do with ethics, you ask? Good question. Perhaps it was because Mr. J intended to break a treaty or law. Perhaps various Tory donors were in the steel business and liked those taxes on their competitors, therefore conflict of interest. So Mr. Johnson checks with Lord Geidt that whatever it was would be okay. Lord Geidt says no sunshine, it would not. Mr. Johnson tells him to go and boil his head. Lord Geidt feels this was an impossible and odious position. In his letter, he says the idea that the Prime Minister might be in the business of deliberately breaching his own code is an affront.